What's up, guys? Today I'll be reviewing the album uh, Operation Ivy, self-titled. Fantastic album. I have listened through it many times. It's a very replayable album. And this is, of course, assuming if you like punk rock or ska. It's like a mix between ska and punk, ska punk or ska core if you'd like. Yeah, it's like I think I bought this album like this last summer, and it's already in probably like my top 5 favorite albums. Like, it's that good. Like, it had that much of an impact on me. It's amazing. Like, it should be like held up to albums like London Calling and what are good like London Calling, Nevermind the Bollocks. Yeah, it should be held up with like really classic albums, which it's definitely made a mark in punk rock history and well worthy of it. I mean, this is considered like one of the greatest punk albums of all time, and I think that is a worthy title. I really do. Just to give you a brief history, you might have not heard of Operation Ivy if you don't really are not really into punk that much. So this Operation Ivy might not seem familiar to you, but the band Rancid, a lot of people seem to know that band. Like, they're pretty popular in the punk rock community and out of the punk rock community. They made themselves into mainstream a little bit in the 90s. Sellouts, right? Sellouts? Yeah. They're not sellouts. But 2 of the members of Operation Ivy are actually in Rancid. So it's kind of like half Operation Ivy. To me, Rancid is a lot different from Operation Ivy, though. Like, they're not very... It's hard to compare them because, like, although they have, like, half the members of Rancid in them, it's still, like, it's 2 different sounds, 2 different vibes, 2 different bands, and I think that's highly because the different frontmen. In this band, we got Jesse Michaels, lead vocals, Tim Armstrong, guitar, Matt Freeman, bass, amazing bass player, awesome bass lines on this album. Like, every song just has a wicked bass line, and they're hard. I've tried playing them. They're pretty hard. Dave Mello, drums. I think part of the reason why Operation Ivy is so different from Rancid is because Jesse Michaels, he wrote like pretty much like every song except Bad Town, which I think was written by Tim Armstrong. I know he sings it, but I'm not sure if... I'm pretty sure he wrote it. But, yeah, Jesse Michaels is an awesome songwriter. He writes songs about unity, peace, kind of like anti-materialistic people, and he actually has a song kind of, not really against pot, but against potheads, like, just living to smoke pot, making money, spending it all on weed and smoking it, He said he goes kind of against that lifestyle in the last song, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, so the history of this album is kind of weird. They're on a label called Lookout Records, and they released their first like EP, which was called Hectic, and then later on they released their first album, and their only album, called Energy. And they broke up like the day it came out. It was sad because, in a way I really wish they continued, but in another way I kind of liked it. I think they ended for a reason, and if they didn't end at that time, who knows, maybe Rancid wouldn't be around. And I love Rancid, I want them to be around. So yeah, and some years later, they just put all their, like, all the stuff they released, like the Hectic EP and the Energy album and a few other songs from a compilation, and they put it all in here to make a wicked album. 27 songs. That's a lot of songs. But the thing is, like, that seems like a really, really long album, which it is. But each song's, like, not even over like 2 minutes. Like, I think the longest song on here is like, here, I'm trying to find it. 2 minutes and 44 seconds is the longest song. That's not a long song, and that's the longest song on the album. And I think the shortest, let me find it, give me time, is the song Bombshell. And it is 1 minute and 1 second. So it's basically just 1 minute. And it's an awesome song. One of my favorites off the album. So, I mean, this album just, every time I listen to it, it just gives me a good vibe. You know, it's pretty positive music. You know, it's not like, I mean, like, here's the liner notes. Like, it's not like talking about, like, oh, girls and stuff. It's talking about serious stuff. You know, like, I really like Sound System a lot, because it's talking about, like, how music is a great way to, like, escape inside yourself, and it's a great way to just, like, keep you alive, pretty much. And that's a great song. It's a great melody, too, but awesome lyrics. I love what it's about. You know, great songs. Unity, obviously about unity between, like, black and white people, or any colored people. Any ethnic groups, really. Just, we're all human. That's basically what it's saying. I love that. It's awesome. Jesse Michaels is kind of a hippie. But, you know, but he was more of a punk rocker. But his thinking, like, unity and peace and stuff, people probably labeled him as a hippie. Which, you know, I don't think hippie is a horrible label, you know. I mean, they're all for, like, peace and unity, and, you know, they're kind of anti-establishment, and that is pretty similar to punk rockers. Their just music styles are different, their lifestyles are a lot different. So, but I have nothing. I think hippies are a good group of people. I don't see anything wrong with them. But, yeah, I can't believe how many just great songs are on here. Like, and they're all, like, I think they're all, like, they were really young when they formed a band and released this album. Like, I don't know exactly how old they were. Like, probably like 18, 19, something like that. That's pretty young to make it one of the greatest albums of all time, really. I think it is, you know. Artificial Life, you know, is about, you know, just materialistic stuff, like stuff that you don't need, and that just products, you know, corporations. It's about that. That's a huge theme in punk rock. It's not about materials, and it's not about, like, buying things. It's not about money. It's not about that. And I think a lot of people who go out of their way to put like hair dye in their hair, and like they get leather jackets and like big leather boots and stuff, just try looking punk. I think it's kind of contradicting themselves a little bit. I mean, they can dress the way they want, but like that stuff is not cheap. They're spending all that money just to look like a punk, which is a little ridiculous to me. But do what you want. You have some awesome songs on here. Just my God. And another thing, like Matt Freeman, I mentioned him, the bass player. Amazing bass player, one of the best. Awesome bass lines on this album. And his bass tone, his bass tone, he uses a 70 P bass, and it's just wicked sounding. Like, it doesn't sound like a normal P bass. If you have no idea what a P bass is, it's a bass made by Fender. I'm sure you've heard of them, and they're pretty common basses. I actually have one, and that's actually the Matt Freeman signature bass. It's modeled after the one he used in Operation Ivy, and he still has it, which is pretty cool. It's a nice sounding bass. It doesn't really sound anything like his in Operation Ivy, but it's a good sounding bass. But yeah, so what isn't there to like about this band? I mean, they got great lyrics, you know, great energy on stage, like live. Holy crap, it's insane. And especially like Matt, he's played all these crazy bass lines, and he's like jumping around, and like, you know, I'm just like, how? I cannot even play bass lines like that if I was just like sitting down. I don't know. They're just never never say punk rockers don't have talent. You know, this band, I think, goes against that. And another thing, Jesse Michaels, his voice, he doesn't have like a great singing voice, but he sings so fast. Like, he gets all those lyrics out in like, he'll get out like a whole paragraph in like 8 seconds. Like, it's just crazy. He's great. I mean, everybody in this band is fantastic. The drummer, I mean, he's a good drummer, but like, I don't really pay attention to drummers that much. I should, but you know, I can tell when a guitarist is special. He's unique, and a bass player and a front man. But drummers, I don't really pay attention to drums that much. Probably because they're kind of like behind everything else. But anyways, yeah, like, I mean, Tim's a great guitarist and great like guitar riffs in here. Like I said, ska, but it's not the whole time. It's like dun, 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 dun. There's like solos and stuff. It's awesome. Matt's bass line's incredible, and Jesse singing. So I mean, you take one of the best punk bands out there, and put pretty much all their songs on one album. It's gonna be a great album, and it is. You know, there are a lot of songs that they made that are not on this album, and there's some demos, and there's a couple songs, but they did release another CD that's like demos and outtakes and stuff, but it's really expensive and it's really rare. I don't really care about having it or owning it, but yeah, all I know is this album, fantastic, a work of art. It's so good. I mean, there's nothing else to say. There's nothing else to say. Just go out and get the album if you're into punk rock. If you're into good music, I think you'll appreciate this album. Thank you.